welcome back to Cruising as Crew. My name is Lucy and today we are going to be going through 5 tips to get your dream job working on board a cruise ship. But before we start, I just wanted to say thank you so much for all of your feedback on my MSc videos. I had such a good time on MSc World Europa. As I said in the videos, I wasn't sure what I was going to make of it, but yeah, absolutely loved it. Europa's definitely a ship that I would like to cruise on again. I did not want to leave. So this video is going to be a little bit different to other videos. My background is different for one, but yeah. Let me know what you think of it. And also let me know what you think of the sound, because if you've been watching me for a while, you will know that sound has been somewhat of an issue. Hopefully that issue is over with these new little road mics. But yeah, we'll see. Anyway, the first thing that you need to do if you want to get a job on a cruise ship, it sounds simple, but you need to research the cruise lines, recruitment agencies, and the jobs that you want to do. Now, with recruitment agencies, I mean, there are literally thousands of recruitment agencies that hire cruise ship crew. But the problem is some cruise ship agencies only hire from certain parts of the world. Some recruitment agencies only hire for specific cruise lines, and then some recruitment agencies only hire specific jobs. So for example, if you wanted to be in housekeeping, maybe you have to go directly through the cruise line, whereas if you want to be a finance manager on board, maybe you'd have to go through a recruitment agency. Again, depending on where you are from in the world, depends on whether you need a recruitment agency, what recruitment agency you need, and then maybe the recruitment agency you choose determines what cruise line you go on. So like, I've had people come to me and they're like, hey, I really wanted to go on Carnival or Virgin Voyages, but I went through this recruitment agency because it was one of the only ones that hired people from where I'm from, but they don't work with the cruise line that I want to work with. So it's a little bit tricky. So doing your research, I know it's boring, but trust me, it's worth it. You need to do your research to know exactly what you're getting yourself into, and also how to get exactly what you want. And if you're having trouble with it, like if you don't want to research, or you're having trouble with researching, or you're not finding the answers that you want, come to me on Instagram, send me an email, ask me the questions, and I will do my utmost to help you find a recruitment agency, a cruise line, a job. The second thing is to make sure your resume is going to stand out. So not only does it need to have great information on it, like if you're going to work in a customer service based job, kind of important that you have like customer service skills on the resume. And I know that sounds obvious, but you would be surprised how many resumes people send me and that's nowhere to be seen. Whatever job you're going for, if you have experience doing that job before on land or even on ships, make sure it's on the CV. And also you have to kind of empathize with the recruiter. The recruiter is going to be seeing possibly hundreds of CVs on a daily basis. Why is she going to read yours? Like really, in today's day and age, people have shorter attention spans than ever, right? TikTok, Instagram, that's me scrolling. It's said that a recruiter gives a CV like 3 seconds. And I think that's pretty generous, like 3 seconds to make an impression. So if your CV is not standing out, the recruiter's not going to even read it. So you really have to make sure that your CV is going to stand out amongst the rest, whether that is with information, with the layout, and also cruise ship CVs kind of have to be specific. Like you're going to work on a cruise ship, you're not going to get a job on land. You can't really just make this CV like you would for any old job on land. So definitely take extra care when you are designing your CV. The next thing is check your socials. So let's say your CV is good, they like the CV, they're even thinking of giving you an interview. Well done. Well, what do you think the next thing they're going to do is before they give you an interview? They're going to type your name in to one of the many social media sites, whether that is Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, I don't know, and they're going to check. Because you can get a pretty good idea of who someone is just by looking at their social media feed for like 2 seconds. Are they passed out drunk in every picture? Do they look like a normal human being? Do they look like they could interact with people from all over the world? Because when you're on a cruise ship, that's what you're going to be doing. These are the questions the recruiter is asking themselves when they're looking at your social media. So either make sure your social media is on private if it's not a good advertisement. If you think it is a good advertisement, then fine. If there's a few pictures that you're like, I probably prefer my future employer not to see that, then delete it. The next thing is you are going to want to practice for your interview. This is really important. So I did a mock interview with a lady called Alicia about a month ago. And Alicia, by all means, by looking at her CV and talking to her, I was like, oh my God, she's a fantastic candidate for the job that she wants on board cruise ships. Fortunately, we conducted a mock interview. The reason this was fortunate was because every decision that she had made would have probably gone against her if she had made the same decision in her actual interview. From what she wore to the location to even how she presented herself by answering the questions that I asked her. So most likely, if that had been her actual interview, I doubt that she would have got the job. However, we discussed it, she made the changes, she did the actual interview, and she got the job. But please do not underestimate the power of practice. Practice for the interview. Practice the questions. Now, I know that you don't necessarily know the questions they're going to ask you, but they're probably going to be pretty standard interview questions like, why do you want to work for this company? Why do you want to work on a cruise ship? Why do you think you would be a good fit? And what is that famous saying? Failing to prepare is preparing to fail. And especially when it comes to an interview, there is nothing more true. So if you have an interview coming up, practice or get in contact with me and we can practice. And my last piece of advice is be patient. As I've said in many other videos, getting a job on board a cruise ship is not a quick process. It can take anywhere from 6 to 9 months sometimes. You might have had the interview and been told that you've got the job and then you don't hear anything. And basically what's happened here is you've had the interview, they really like you, so they've given you the job, not necessarily because there is a space available on one of their cruise ships at the moment. They've put you in a pool of people that they can pull from when there is space available on the cruise ship. But you have to wait for a space to become available. So for some people, this can be really quick because around the time that they got hired is around the time that someone finished their contract and they actually need a replacement for that position. On the other hand, for someone else, it can be 4 months because the other person isn't finishing their contract for another 4 months, which means there's no space for you right now. So it's not a reflection on like how good you are. It's simply a rotation issue. And this is why I tell you, like, if you have the interview and you get the job, amazing, but don't quit your day job until you have been given a cruise ship and a joining date because, well, for the reason I've just given. And don't worry about like notice at your current job because during your interview, your recruiter should have asked you how much notice do you need to give at your current day job. So when they're looking at a cruise ship to put you on, they should be keeping in mind that you need to give 2 weeks, 1 month, 3 months notice at your current job. And also during this time, you're going to need to get a lot of documents. Medical, STCW, visas, you might need vaccinations. Like, there's a lot of stuff that you need to be doing. Now, again, don't go ahead and do this stuff until your recruiter tells you to do it because you don't want to get an ENG1 medical to find that the cruise ship that you've been placed on requires a different medical. But it is going to take time to get these documents, so it's probably just as well you have a little bit of time. Like, I know people who've had the interview and been told, okay, you're joining in 2 weeks. And it's kind of the worst because you have to get all of these documents in 2 weeks and say goodbye to your family and mentally prepare to be joining a cruise ship in 2 weeks for 6 to 9 months. So although I don't think waiting 6 months for your cruise ship contract to start is ideal, I also don't think 2 weeks is ideal. I think if it is 3 to 4 months, well, that's great because remember, this isn't just a new job. This is a new lifestyle shift. Like, this is a big change. Now, this being said, I am not opposed to you staying on your recruiter's radar by sending them the odd email just to let them know that, like, hey, I'm here. You know, if you've gotten all of your documentation or maybe you just haven't heard from your recruiter in a while, it's absolutely fine to send them a polite email to basically show that you're eager to start as soon as possible. Again, if you're waiting, this probably isn't a reflection on you. It's most likely because they just don't have space on any ships at the moment. But a friendly email every few weeks, I don't see an issue with that personally. Please don't be rude. Remember, these recruiters are people, and if you are rude, they will put you at the bottom of the list, for sure. You know, it wasn't until filming this video that I realised how white my house is. Here was me trying to do like different backgrounds, and I'm like, oh, it's all white. I mean, I know it's all white, but when you're like, oh, it's really white. Anyway, I hope that video has helped you out. I hope you find these tips useful. If you have any questions, let me know. If you want help, email me, lucy@cruisingascrew.com. And yeah, if you like this video, let me know. If the sound, how's the sound? Please be good. Ooh. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you, and as always, I will see you in the next video.